Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to get started making the wire armature or base of your Oaxacan animal sculpture. So at this point you should have printed out more than one perspective of your animal. So here I have a hippo from the side and then I have a hippo face on. That is going to help you to make your animal more proportionate because you're going to see this is obviously a 2D image. You're going to be making a 3D sculpture, so you have to understand how the different shapes of the body work together from different angles of the body of the animal. So I'm just going to start with the body of my hippo. Now, I am by no means an expert on working with wire, but luckily for us, we're going to be covering this all with newspaper and tape eventually, and then also with plaster, so you won't see the wire armature, but we do need it there so that you can get the right proportions. We want to make our animal as proportionate as possible, so the size of the legs versus the size of the body versus the size of the head should be fairly realistic. With the wire, you do not need to be making any really small details, so don't worry about the ears, don't worry about the eyes, don't worry about the toes. You're just going to be making the body, the legs, and the shape of the head. So I'm going to start with a piece of metal. If you had noticed when I cut, I put my hand over where I was cutting the wire. This way no pieces of wire go flying out and hit your neighbors in the eyes and cut them. That is sad. So I'm going to take my wire, and for the body of the hippo, if I'm looking at it the up and down way, I'm going to be making kind of an oval shape for the body. I'm going to take my wire to make it connect together. I'm going to hold it at the intersection, and then I'm just going to twist, and then I'm going to twist on the other side. Now at this point in time, I still have basically a 2D or a flat shape, right? Like this is not, it doesn't take up space. So in order to make it take up space, I'm going to take another wire and I'm going to make it into a 3D object. So I'm going to take my second piece of wire. To attach it, I'm just going to hold it at the intersection, and then I'm going to twist it around a few times. Now hippos are pretty round animals, they're pretty chubby. So now I'm twisting the back side. So now my flat piece of my wire has some more shape to it. You can also use, there's some different shaped pliers that you can use if it's a little difficult to get these little extra pieces tucked in. This one is kind of broken. That's all right. Okay. So now I have intersecting pieces of wire that can serve as my hippo's body. I'm not worried about the fact that it's a little taller up here and smaller down here because I can make up for that when I add the newspaper, but it's really important that I at least have the main shape of it. Then what I'm going to want to do next is start adding the legs on. So I have my wire here. Remember when I cut? I just kind of put my hand over the top, and I'm using these little wire snippers to cut it off. So to make a leg, I'm not even going to worry about making my leg three-dimensional. I can make it two-dimensional, and then when we stuff it with newspaper, you'll be able to give it some bulk. But I do want to make sure that the legs end up in the right spot for my hippo. So if I'm looking at my hippo, here's the body. And then if you kind of look at where the legs are, they come almost out of where the butt is, and then way up here at the front. So I'm not going to put my legs way here in the middle. I'm going to put them, using observation from my actual picture. So I'm going to start by putting a leg up towards the front here. And this is the really important part, hold it at the intersection of where the two wires cross. And then if you just twist to get it on there. So when this is all said and done, it's not going to look perfectly like a hippo yet. But once you're done with this in a few days, there will be another demonstration video that I'll have for you that will show you how to add on the newspaper. So if I'm looking at my hippo and I look at kind of where the belly ends up and how long the feet are to the belly, they're not a lot longer. Now if you're making, say, a giraffe, clearly you're going to have very long legs, but since my hippo is kind of short and chubby, my legs aren't going to be as long. So I'm just going to add another leg here, here, and here, add on a head, and I'm going to pay special attention to the fact that the head and neck come right out of the front part of the body. It doesn't go up, it kind of comes out this way. I'm not going to sit here and do the entire thing for you because that would be really boring, but this is just kind of to give you a base. And don't get too worried if this doesn't look perfect, because once you start adding on to it, it'll all kind of make more sense and it'll get a lot easier. All right, good luck.